Final Fantasy VI is widely considered the best in the series. Personally, I don't have an opinion on the matter. My first time playing Final Fantasy VI was back in early 2023. I never fully completed the game. I only played a few hours and even made a playthrough of it on my channel, but I never finished it. It wasn't because it was bad or anything. I was actually really enjoying it. Recently, I've been having the itch to play this game again, and this time I intend to fully complete it. The version I played was the Pixel Remaster, and I'm glad to know it's been accepted pretty well amongst fans. If you haven't been able to tell, I'm a huge fan of modding games, since it opens up endless possibilities to cater to your preferences. Final Fantasy VI has 4 official releases. The original is the Super Nintendo version, the Game Boy Advance, the Steam and mobile version, and finally the most recent one, the Pixel Remaster. After doing countless research on each version, it seems that the Steam mobile version is the best one for modding. I'm also aware that version has been delisted from Steam since the release of the Pixel Remaster, but don't worry. Later in this video, I will show you how you can still access that version so you too can mod it and create your ultimate experience. I'll go over all the mods available and a thorough step-by-step guide on how to mod Final Fantasy VI. There's really not many, if at all, any videos on YouTube on how to mod Final Fantasy VI. If you enjoy these types of videos, help me out by liking and subscribing. And also comment down below and let me know your experience and thoughts with Final Fantasy VI. Now let's get started. So Nexus Mods is where I recommend to go to find all your Final Fantasy VI mods. Remember that the version we're about to mod right now is the 2015 Steam version. This is the old version of Final Fantasy VI before the Pixel Remaster came out. What I want to do right now is go over all the mods available for this version. We have the Final Fantasy VI weapon mod. This mod has the Amano Dissidia themed weapons. So if you want to change the current weapons to look more like the Amano designs from Dissidia, this mod is for you. Here we have the Shinra Select Music mod. It's an alternate music selection to refresh the game's vibe converted from various artists. Here we have the enemy offset fixes. So apparently this version suffers from some offsets of enemy placement. They may look off-centered and not placed properly due to how the game was built. So if you have issues anytime during the game, I definitely recommend to check this mod out. Now the launcher resolution fix that removes the black borders. This is a mod while testing I misunderstood what it did, and I don't think I did it right. This mod's supposed to remove the graphics filtering shimmering upon camera movement. It removes black borders only in windowed mode, not full screen. So I'm sure while doing this I did something wrong and I did not properly do this correctly. Here we have the same world and battle backgrounds. So this mod is a full world map mod for Final Fantasy VI. If you guys see gameplay of how the mobile Steam version looked, it did not look good. The backgrounds were a little too bright, and I believe it's built off the GBA version, so a lot of things didn't look right. Personally, I was not a fan of the backgrounds, so I'm pleased to say that this mod really does fix a lot of those problems. Next we have the Brave Steel Sane alternate and fixes. This is basically an extension for the mod to replace all sprites in the game. More on that later. Here we have the 2D overworld map. It's a more accurate layout to the original version. Here we have an alternate title screen. You can change it to the original artwork of Yoshitaka Amano. Here we have the consistency overhaul mod. It's a modular multi-mod that includes character color consistency, multiple sprite fixes and additions. It ports over monster sprites from the mobile game Brave Exvius. Also new color variation for portraits. Gives you an option to put the Pixel Remaster backgrounds. This mod is something you really want to look into to make sure you pick out exactly what you want. Here we have the opening credit sequence visual enhancement. This mod overhauls the visuals of the opening credit sequence. It incorporates a darker and more vibrant art style, using a mixture of edited assets taken from the Pixel Remaster, and also new sprites by Acero Steel. Now this mod is one I highly recommend, because the UI in this game is ass. The same UI is an alternate UI for the old Steam mobile version of Final Fantasy VI. Unfortunately, it doesn't change it too much, but it makes it way more pleasing to look at, and I'll show you guys later how you can still change it a little bit more. This mod lets you change the font of the game. I believe the original Final Fantasy VI and Super Nintendo was using the classic Chicago style font with a more pixelated look. The grass or green fix, it changes the oversaturated look of the green grass to a more darker, less vibrant one. It's more of the aesthetic of the original look for the game. Next up, we have the Final Fantasy VI remake style portraits. These are very cool if you like these type of art styles for your portraits. Definitely check it out. Not sure if they're AI generated, but they actually look pretty solid. The new battle backgrounds mod, it's probably one of my other favorites. It replaces all of the battle backgrounds with new and edited versions. Some are more basic color alterations, while others are heavily edited to replace outright with entirely new ones. These backgrounds look really good in this game. What the original Steam release of Final Fantasy VI suffered was the oversaturated colors the game had, and I love these new backgrounds because it changed the whole vibe completely to more of the original setting. So I definitely recommend for you guys to come and check this one out. Here we have another mod that changes the portraits to a more Opera Omnia style. So if you guys love that mobile game and love the art style of that game, you can now incorporate this into this game. It's pretty sweet. The more options, the better. So this mod changes the color detail of the snow to a more darker pixelated approach. Because if you look how the original looks, it looks very white, very vibrant, and the other options give it more of the original classic Super Nintendo look. Now you guys tell me, is it pronounced Narsh or Narshi? Because I don't think there's an official way of saying this anywhere from Square Enix, so I'm pretty interested to know how it's pronounced. So let me know down below. Now here we have the Final Fantasy VI Brave Steel mod 2.0 version. Acero Steel did a phenomenal job. I really like these sprites a lot, and honestly I like them a little more than the original ones. Definitely come give this one a try and check it out. Here we have another music mod, the Synthetic Origins Final Fantasy VI Steam OST mod. Damn, that was a mouthful. So again, I recommend to come give this one a try. Next, we have the Final Fantasy VI Steam Pixel Remaster OST mod. So if you guys love the Pixel Remaster soundtrack, you can now put this in the old version to replace the original one. Now, music is very subjective. I personally really like the Pixel Remaster OST. I haven't gone too far into the game, but from what I've listened to recently, I'm preferring the Pixel Remaster a little more over the original one. So I'm kind of in the middle of either picking the Pixel Remaster or keeping the original soundtrack for my first full playthrough. So last but not least, we have arrived to the final mod, and the one that's going to help us put all this together. We have the Atma Weapon Multi-Mod. This is the custom installer for the old Steam version of Final Fantasy VI. With this custom installer, you can replace the ugly mobile UI, the sprites, battle backgrounds, the font, the music tracks, and so much more. This is going to completely let us mod Final Fantasy VI. So before we continue, this video would be very redundant if there wasn't a way for you to be able to access this version of the game. When the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster came out, this older version was removed completely. There is no way to buy this game anymore. So you may be asking, why would I make a video on how to mod this version of the game if it's not accessible to the public? Well, there actually is a way to get this, and for free actually. Now obviously, to avoid any legal problems or just not risk it at all, I will not be sharing any links. All I'm going to say is that you can find it on this website. And if that's not enough for you guys to be able to find it, I definitely recommend to join the Moogles and Mods Discord. Here you will be able to find all the information you need for the old version of Final Fantasy VI. Now, if you do join this Discord, all you have to do is go to the left side and go down to where it says Final Fantasy VI PC Old. And under that, you will go to the discussion. Now here you can ask all the questions that you want. They can also show you exactly how to get a copy of Final Fantasy VI, the old version. So I definitely recommend to join this Discord if you need help on how to find a copy of this game. Now let's install the Atma Weapon Multi-Mod Custom Installer. So if you guys are new to Nexus Mods, you need to create an account to be able to download these mods. Once you do that, you want to go down to Files and download the Atma 2020. So after you get a copy of Final Fantasy VI on your Steam account, The best way to find the files for this game is going to the cog right here and going to manage and go to browse local files. This will directly take you to where all your Final Fantasy VI files are. Next, what I recommend to do is download all the mods that you want and put them lined up somewhere on your desktop so you can be able to easily locate them. Next, you want to take the Atma weapon file you just downloaded and open it up. Here, there will be two things inside: the Atma weapon exe file and the URLs. So in your Final Fantasy VI directory, you want to make a new folder and you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to put Atma, and from there, all you want to do is grab the files in there and drag them onto Atma. After that, click on the exe file. This will boot up the Atma custom installer. Now, this is something I'm not going to cover because this video will be way longer than it should be, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So you have an option to download one of the 3 presets, which is the remastered, A World Reborn, and the classic SNES version, or you have an option to create your own. I recommend just to click on create your own, and this will bring up a lot of options for you to choose from. But since we are going to mod the game with some mods that are not included in here, I personally just leave everything on default and continue. Now, this is the most important page of this custom installer. Make sure for reshade that you put none. If you put anything else, this custom installer might crash or it might not download everything properly. Another important one is make sure you have all this unchecked on the right side. After that, you want to press next. Don't touch anything here and just install. Now here is where you want to choose where you want to install this at, but also make sure that the directory shows up to where your game files are at. Like for mine is Steam Apps, Common, Final Fantasy VI. After you make sure everything's correct, you press install. This takes a little bit, so just let it do its thing. So once it's done, it will let you know that it's finished. After that, click finish. So now we're able to put our mods in these files for them to be able to work now. And this next part is actually the really easy part. Once you pick all the mods that you want on the Nexus Mods website, I definitely recommend to bring them to your desktop and have them lined up like this. Let's install the Brave Steel mod. So mostly all these mods come with a README file, and I definitely recommend to read through it if you're stuck or if you have any questions. Now let's go to our Final Fantasy VI directory. Here you can go to the OBB folder. This folder contains everything on the game, to the sprites, the backgrounds, the graphics, the font, everything's here. So if you look at our Brave Steel mod folder, we also have an OBB folder on here. This also has all the battle character backgrounds, the effects, the portraits. Depending on what the mod is, it's what it's going to replace when you put it in the Final Fantasy VI directory. So what you want to do next is go to your Final Fantasy VI directory and click on the OBB folder. All you have to do is copy all this and bring it over to your directory folder. And now this is very important. You want to make sure this is what comes up. It's going to say this destination already contains a folder named battle, and it's going to say that for every folder. Is put do this for all the current items and put yes. You want to replace all those files with the files you're bringing over. It might take a while because these files can get pretty big. And this is another thing you want to look for. It's going to ask you again, you want to replace or skip files. You want to put replace the files in the destination. After it's finished moving over, you will see all the folders highlighted that has all the new files in it. So that's how you know everything worked perfectly. And that's pretty much it. From there, you already modded all your character sprites, your backgrounds, everything's modded to the Brave Steel mod. Let's do one more example. Here I have the Sane UI mod. You will see that all these mods have an OBB folder, and that's what you want because it's as simple as before. All you have to do in your directory is go to the OBB folder, click on it, click on your OBB folder from your mod, highlight everything you want to move over and drag it over. And that's it. It's very simple. It's very easy once you get the hang of it. And just like that, I have a new modded UI, and it's way better than that ugly one. Yeah, but this UI is horrible. It's based on the mobile UI. As you can see, it goes up very slowly. So I'll show you guys how you can make that a tiny bit better than this. All you have to do is go to the configuration menu, go down to where it says battle window, and I recommend to put it on tab left. This at least makes the UI stop moving, and it uses a traditional bar for the ATB gauge. This is much more pleasing to look at personally, I think so, because the other version would drive me nuts. So for those who do enjoy gaming on windowed mode, this version suffers from the black bars still being shown, even in windowed mode. As you can see, these are all the resolutions that we have. If we start up the game, you will notice that unfortunately the bars are still there. So what this mod does, it removes the graphics flickering, shimmering upon camera movement. It removes the black borders in window mode only. It forces the correct pixel rendering for using the game's native 3:2 aspect ratio, resulting in improved visuals. Replaces all resolution options in the game launcher with resolutions with an aspect ratio of 3:2s. If you guys are familiar with ROM hacking, this does require the Lunar IPS patcher. I will include the link in the description below. Once you go to that link, all you have to do is download it. It's very simple. Once it's downloaded, I always put the files on my desktop. You will see the Lunar IPS exe file. I went ahead and created a new folder on my desktop, and I just named it Final Fantasy VI Resolution Fix. Once you have the file downloaded, you want to click on it, open it, and just to make things easy, just drag the file into the new folder we created. Now, going back to the Lunar program, you want to click on it. This tiny little window will appear. What you want to do next, you want to click on the Apply IPS patch. You want to go to the folder we just created and where I put the IPS file at. Click on it, press open, and right away it's going to kick you to a new window. Next, what you want to do is go to your Final Fantasy VI game directory. You will see a lot of files are not showing up. What we need to find is the Final Fantasy VI launcher exe file. So to do that, you just want to come to the bottom right and click on all files. Now you'll see all the files appear. And make sure you click on the launcher and not the exe file, because that's what I did, and it doesn't work if you do that. So once you click on the launcher, you open it and it will tell you right away the file has been successfully patched. Now let's go back to our launcher. Let's go to game settings, and as you guys can see now, we have different resolutions. If you click on full screen, it won't let you change it, obviously. Now, I definitely recommend to use this launcher resolution fix. And as you guys can see, we have a much bigger window now, and we don't have those ugly black bars on the side anymore. And the pixel size rendering is much better than how it was previously. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is the defilter. So basically what the defilter does, it removes that ugly filter that Square Enix loves putting on their games, especially these older ones. If you look at the sprites, they look smeared, like if they smeared Vaseline all over it, and it looks kind of blurry. And this is all a personal choice. Some people like that, some people don't. I prefer to be able to see the defined pixels, basically how the pixel remaster looks. Those sprites do not have any filters on them. So to do that, again, we need the Lunar IPS patcher. You may be asking, where do I find the defilter IPS file at? Well, it's right here in Sane UI. When you open the Sane UI folder, you will see it right here. That's the IPS file that we need. And again, to make things easier, I will drag this over to the new folder I created. So again, bring up your Lunar IPS program. I just moved it to the resolution fix folder, and you will see it right here. Since we already did the launcher resolution, we're good. Now here's the defilter one. You want to click on that, and right away another window is going to come up, and it's the same thing. We just go to the Final Fantasy VI directory. So again, you won't see anything until we press all files. Now for the defilter, we want to do it on the Final Fantasy VI exe file, not the launcher. Click open and it will tell you it's been successful and it's been patched. And that's it, guys. Now to show you guys the difference of what the defilter does, I will show you some comparison clips so you guys can judge for yourself. Now let's say you want to revert back to the original version, you want to clean your entire files from all the mods. Basically, in case you mess up and you want to start over fresh, all you do is go to your Atma folder you created, click on the exe file again, and click on uninstall Atma. Atma weapon has been successfully removed, just finish. Another extra step I recommend is to uninstall it from Steam, then install again. And the last thing I recommend to do, go to manage, properties, and go to your installed files and click on verify integrity of game files. This is just an extra step to make sure your files are completely clean from all mods and you can start over fresh. that concludes this mod guide. I've been working on this for a while now since it's hard to find the time for it. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hopefully it helps you out and answers a lot of your questions. To be honest though, I believe there's still a lot left to be desired from this version, even with all the mods. Like a true 16:9 resolution, even a true widescreen would be crazy. A better UI layout would be incredible. Also, somehow bringing over the magic animations from the Pixel Remaster would make this the definitive version in my opinion. But I don't even know if any of that would be possible. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe someday Square Enix will give us at least a 2D HD remake of this game. That would be a dream come true for a lot of fans, and I feel it would be the best way to go about a remake for Final Fantasy VI. Huge shout out to all the incredible modders who made these mods possible. I always say it, without you guys, I could not make these videos. Also, special thanks to Foulspark, who was incredibly helpful answering all of my questions. Thanks to him, we have a lot of these incredible mods available, so thank you. Before I forget, is it just my dog that gets flustered when he hears this sound? He gets this crazy look in his eyes. I think I've exerted his patience. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Help me out by liking the video and subscribe if you want to see more. With all that being said, I'll leave you with these comparison videos. See you on the next one. Happy holidays, everyone.